and your dog licked your makeup. I hope you get ready for work and you can't find your shirt.
Oh, y'all, excuse me, because you know how much I hate to interrupt your scroll. So let me hurry up and get through this, because you can go back and do what you gotta do, and I can go back to doing what I gotta do. And I made an illustration just to make it easier for everybody. All right, this is me, and this is you. Okay, and this could be a family, friend, co-worker, alone in the world with a little cat dog. I don't care who it is, to whom it may concern. However, when we get together, it is now us. You know what always gets me is when we first start out, it's always cool, calm, and collected. I like it that way. But somewhere along the lines, you realize, this is you once again, realizing that you like to play games. Okay, you have become so fascinated with playing games that now all of a sudden you think that you can play with me. Here's you thinking that you can play with me. That's crazy. It's honestly crazy, but obviously you like to live on the edge. Okay, now you realize that you found a new love for these games, that you want to incorporate them in your everyday lifestyle. You are dedicated to the process. You are even willing to bet it all. Now, here's this person who knows what I know, and they know that you are in a great deal of trouble, okay? What a dummy is what you call it, because to bet all of that and to only be left with my ass to kiss is diabolical. It's honestly insane if you ask me. All right now, all right, because the thing is this. Let me break it down for anybody who may be a little confused in translation. Here you are with the right idea, but the wrong bitch. Okay, it's very simple. It's extremely simple. Okay, right idea, once again, wrong bitch. Yeah. So now that I have gotten wind of what you think is about to take place, I am pointing you in the direction of where maybe someone would like to play games, okay? Which is all the way over there, okay? Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? No. Okay, I want you to go further, and further, and further away. You're so excited to continue on with these games that you're like, how much further do I have to go? You are so busy making your way downtown, walking fast, okay? You want to get there, you're excited. And even through all of this, even through it all, I'm still being a good Samaritan, a team player, if you will. I grab my magnifying glass because I am determined to help you find you something safe to do. All right, y'all. Well, look, share with those who need to know. Have a good one.
Hey. What's up, family? How y'all doing? I know I saw y'all a few hours ago. We had a quick lesson a few hours ago. Now we back. We back for the real deal. Okay, this time. Let me get to speaking in these comments because we have guests and we don't want to keep our guests too long, but we have guests today. So I expected everyone to be on their best behavior. I hope that's understood. All of my moms that's in the building, we not playing no games today. We're going to be very respectful in these comments as always because we are family over here. We can agree to disagree. We don't have to call each other names. We don't have to say anything derogatory or ugly. We know what we doing over here. We adults over here, and we finna get to the business. Hey, Dave Bryson in New Zealand. It's Tuesday at 12:05. Boy, you be rocking with me all times of the day. I need to get a job like yours. You got banker's hours. Okay? I'm doing good. Dave Bryson, I am okay. Everything is okay over here for right now. Okay? Hey, Foxy Roxy, how you doing? Tracy K, hey, how you doing? Hey, Jody, thank you for coming back. Winky Wonder, what's up? You say you was late. What did you say? I just watched 2 times, watched the earlier live from today, and SP sounded like an auctioneer. Didn't I? I was talking fast, okay? I was making my way downtown, talking fast, because I have 100 things I still need to do when I get off of here. Hey, Carol Morton, how you doing? Tracy K, you're not late this time. Hey, Jim C, thank you for hanging with us today. I know you guys can be anywhere. I thank you for being here with me. Okay, eat your dinner and listen to us. I love that for me. Okay, hey, Kenneth Dawkins, how you doing? Sure. Hey, what's going on? Okay, H-Bag, how you doing? Tina P, how you doing? Tidra Owens, how are you? Miss Prima Donna, tell your husband I said, hey, how are you doing this evening? Okay. Okay, you about die seeing dots? All of us did, child. He trying to be everywhere but nowhere at once. Okay, Easter Battle, how you doing? Charlie Girl Montgomery, how are you? Please let me know still when your parents get settled here in Dolton so that I can bring them a welcome basket. I still have it. Hey, Water Bill Credit, how you doing? Jack 1954, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Bones, how you doing? All right, formalities out of the way. All right, listen. Dolton Rising, moving forward, right? Upwards, onwards. That's what we're doing. We can't do anything about the past. We are moving into the future, right? And in the future Dolton looks like everyone participating in all aspects of their government. That village board, the school board, the park district. I mean, we gonna be everywhere that our arms and legs can take us, right? That's right, because we're not going to let anything slip through the cracks. Hey, Anissa Starks, how are you? Well, today I have some lovely, lovely women with me today, some lovely guests with me today. If you were earlier, Anissa, thank you for the super chat of $2. If you tuned in earlier, I think my live was about 2 o'clock. I don't know, child, I was off time. Um, if you tuned in earlier, you saw a meet and greet that was held by this particular slate. And I told you all, listen, there are some dinosaurs on this board, right? And they've been up there since the Bible days. And they think that they should stay there because that's what they've been doing, right? And they feel like they're not gonna have meet and greets and get on the ground or whatever they're gonna do because they feel like you just gonna vote them regardless, like you've been doing. Well, we're not doing that any longer. So we're gonna have to show them that we're not doing that any longer. And we're voting for the people who are interactive and responsive to us, right? So I would like to present to you today Dr. Shalonda Randall and Miss Andrea Johnson. You guys welcome them to the stage. Okay.
Thank you.
We're gonna call this slate lightning and thunder. That's what we're gonna call this slate. This slate is lightning and thunder because we finna get some things done and we are we're about to make sure that our children are going to be prepared for this future that's coming upon them. But y'all out there in the comments, y'all know how I do. Make sure you welcome in the ladies into the chat, onto the platform. We thank them. We love them over here because that video I showed them earlier at their meet and greet, they didn't play no game. They answered all the questions and they gave you some responses. And we're gonna get more of the same tonight. But y'all know how we do. We're gonna play a little icebreaker game. And we're going to do this or that, the teacher's edition. All right. You're going to get two choices. You have to choose one or the other. Okay. You ready, ladies?
Yes.
Yes.
Too. I wrote these in like 2 minutes. This cracked me up the whole time I was writing them too. Okay, my gosh. You ready? The
Yes.
first one is teacher work day or class field trip.
I'm gonna go with class field trip.
I would go with the class field trip as well.
Okay, yeah, because that teacher work day, I'm not for that either. Okay, next one is e-learning or in-person learning.
In-person learning.
I'm e-learning.
Those were two tough ones for me because kids learn differently, and my kids, they're better e-learners than they are in-person learners because there's no distractions at home.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a choice. I think some teachers are better in person than they are with e-learning. So I think that was a toss-up. Career day or science fair?
Career
day.
Me too. Science fair, child. I don't want to build nobody nothing. Okay. School lunch or out to lunch?
Out to lunch.
Yeah, I would say out to lunch too.
Okay. Parent teacher conference or staff meeting.
Parent teacher
Parent,
conferences.
Okay. Listen, me, I'm picking that staff meeting because these parents, it's hard. Some of them, boy, whoo, Lord have mercy. I'm gonna pray for y'all parents. I just want y'all to know that. Okay. Tennis shoes or church shoes?
tennis
Tennis
shoes,
shoes.
Moody Monday or Freedom Friday?
Freedom
free
Friday.
Homework or recess?
homework.
Recess.
Me too. Please go and get out my face for the rest of the day. Me too. Okay. Because some people, I was a school bus driver, and some people don't know what it's like to have a child ask you a question every 2 minutes. They don't know what that's like. So don't judge me. Judge your mammy. Teachers' aids, like visuals, teachers' aids, or book only.
Teachers,
Dates.
That's what I like. And that was the game. See, that wasn't nothing. That's the game. I love this. Hey, Sherry Hatcher Britton. Welcome. All right. So now the first thing I would like for you ladies to do, each of you, and you may talk until you're finished. Please give the people your, I would say, credentials. What do you do? What degrees do you have? Or, whatever you would like to tell them about you. We'll start with you, Miss Johnson.
hi. My name is Andrea Michelle Johnson. I go by Andrea M. Johnson. I use my middle name. I have a bachelor's degree from Roosevelt University. I am currently employed as a licensing specialist with a social service agency that is contracted by DCFS. I've spent nearly 30 years in the social service field. The bulk of my time has been in case management, working directly with children and families affiliated with DCFS. Um, in my role in case management, I help to um, obtain the services and resources needed for parents to regain custody of their children, of their child or children. Also, I helped the children get the needed resources and services that they were in need of while absent from their homes of origin. Um, I specifically work diligently with my kids. I call all the kids that I have encountered my kids, um, to assist them in their education, to make sure that they got the services that they needed. Many of the children in DCFS have IEPs or 504 plans. I was always present for the IEP staffings or the 504 staffings to ensure that they received the services that they needed. Um, be it social service hours or extra hours in math or reading, whatever was necessary, to be a voice for the voiceless, because oftentimes the children and or the parents didn't know what services they should be entitled to. So that's what I've done for nearly 30 years. Now, my current position, I'm a licensing specialist. I work with and monitor homes of people who want to be foster parents to children in the care of DCFS. I monitor to make sure that they are providing um, a loving and nurturing home. Um, and I also do investigations if there's a allegation of abuse or neglect in the foster home. So I've had extensive years and experience working with children and families, primarily African American, but there have been some Hispanics and Caucasian children and families as well.
Okay. Listen, now I'm feeling a little intimidated. I'm feeling like I'm gonna behave. That's how I'm feeling like I'm listen, Miss Johnson, you're not gonna have no problems out of me. I'm finna behave. Dr. Randall, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for having us. We
Mm.
really appreciate it. Again, my name is Shalonda Randall. I am a doctor of education leadership. I received my doctorate from the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign, which I'm very proud to be a first generation college graduate and to move up to that level. I'm also a product of the state of Illinois. College system. I went to Eastern Illinois for my bachelor's and for my master's. And I'm also a proud product of the Chicago public school system. So all that to say that I am a huge supporter of public education and believe that everyone has an opportunity, if given that opportunity, to do well in life. And I want to continue to support our students in particular on that path. And that is one of the reasons why I entered into the education field. I am currently an assistant superintendent of, be ready, equity. That word that society has deemed to be unacceptable, but the work is so necessary and needed. I am very proud to be an equity leader in a school district. It's in a northern part of Illinois, predominantly rural, where there's a true need of supporting students and families with resources that they may not have the opportunity to have access to, considered suitable to urban and suburban communities. In my position, I advocate for those who are McKinney-Vento, that is homeless students and families. I also look at disproportionality rates of students of color, Black and brown students being suspended out of school compared to our white students. And also just continue to support our students' SEL, their social emotional learning, and just really honing in onto who they are as individuals. And also, I work with our community partners with mental health, something that I believe is very important. I call my job the warm and fluffy. It is not always built around the academics, because if these particular needs are not met by our students, then that academic will sometimes be a struggle for our students to connect to. I'm also an advocate for our students in special education, and particularly we're talking about students, we're getting an uprise and uptick of autism, and how we can make sure that they're included and they're inclusive in the learning environment. So my job just really just centers around really being an advocate for especially our marginalized students. I have been a director of school improvement, and I have been a principal for 12 years as well. So I'm very blessed. God gave me the job that I asked for, and I'm so blessed to still be in it and being effective and being a contributor to helping our students become well-adjusted citizens in our society. So I really appreciate this opportunity.
I'm gonna say something funny here because that's what I do. Somebody in my chat said they seem like they are so busy, but can they cook?
Absolutely.
Okay, okay.
Not me.
Okay. And listen, first I want to say on behalf to both of you ladies, um, I was a product of McKinney-Vento. My children received services under McKinney-Vento. When I first came here, I was homeless with my 3 children. And so McKinney-Vento is how I registered my child. At the time, I only had one school-aged child for school in the Matson School District 159. And so I know that the work that you do, you have to be personally invested. You have to want to do it, because homeless people have a lot of issues. It's not just homelessness that you are struggling with. At the time, I also was going through a divorce, and my kids had different health issues. So I know that you are dealing with not just the school portion of what they are dealing with, you are also dealing with everything else that comes along with them. So the baggage is heavy. And so, first, I want to thank you, ladies, for even taking these roles that you have just in your personal lives on, in addition to this particular seat, because it is an added layer to what you do. I want people to understand that you just heard all that stuff that they rattled off that they do, right? So helping your child in Dolton West School District 148 is an addition, it's an added seat to what they do. So going forward, I'm sure that they're going to tell you how you can support them and how you can help them and ease their load. So let's get into it. So the first thing I wanted to ask you all, how is a superintendent chosen? And before you answer, everyone that can, please like, share, and subscribe this video. Put this video in Dolton Politics so that people can tap in and they can get some questions answered, please, so that we can maybe stop some of the posts of people asking questions and not knowing. You can come right here and get your answers. So with that being said, how is a superintendent chosen? What are the criteria for that?
So I'll go ahead and start, and of course, Ms. Johnson can chime in. So with the process actually starts similar to any other process. It's an application that superintendents can apply for the position. So the process can go two ways. One, the school board can do the entire process. It was filtered pretty much through the school board president, who would then look at the applications and then do a screening and bring in the applicants that he feel or she feels that may be worth moving to a interview. It could also go through a firm. So a firm can choose to screen candidates based on what the needs of the district are, and also what the board is looking for in its role of a leader. So it will gather that information, that input, kind of just get a feel of what the community is looking for in a leader, and then they will start a screening process. Likewise, with the school board, they kind of talk to each other. They know, God bless you, they know what they're looking for. And so then they will kind of go through the applications themselves and pick out who they feel may be the top 5 candidates.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to add that for those who may be wondering why the school board would be involved, it's because the superintendent is an employee and the school board is considered the employer. And so that's why the school board is involved in the process.
Okay, both of you can answer this question, and then you can add your comment where you want to add, Dr. Randall, after when you answer your questions. Okay. The first question is, which process do you prefer? Right? And to become the board president, is that a vote that takes place amongst the board? Y'all can, each one of you can whoever gonna tackle what can go ahead.
I would say the board president is an elected position that via a vote shortly after, like this coming up election, shortly after there would be a vote of all 7 members. Someone would be nominated to be president, and then there would be a vote. And of course, the majority vote wins, and that's how that person is selected as the president.
And which process do you prefer, Ms. Johnson? The firm, or you prefer the board president is doing the screening?
Well, I would prefer, actually, depending on the board and in the situation that we're in now with the board president that we currently have, I would probably opt for the firm with the hopes that it would be more, fair and objective selection process.
Yeah, I agree. I think a firm brings in a non-biased perspective of someone who may be more intentional in finding the best candidate. But going back to what Mrs. Johnson stated earlier, it's also about who's on the board. So, you want to make sure that you don't have someone on the board who's connected to a firm, who is recommending a firm, but really making sure that everyone's voice is heard in several selections, like bringing 2 or 3 firms or 3 or 4 firms before the board, and the board votes on those firms and have basically interview the firms before the firms move towards interviewing the candidate.
So a proper bidding process. This is what I would prefer, like a proper bidding process where you say we're going to put bids out to hire a firm to do the hiring for the superintendent, and then you all do an interview. That way you all can have your questions, whether it be you have a meeting and you take questions from the residents and say, I'm gonna mix my questions with some residents' questions, with some parents' questions, right? And ask these firms. And then you're going to decide based on that. But I also like that process because then you all can individually submit what you're looking for, right? Yeah. And then you can come together on what could be weeded out. Well, this is the same as this, so we'll just take this one, and then that way you have something properly to present to the firm. But I do like the bidding process. I feel like these overall government processes that take place in some of these other entities could benefit the school boards, as well.
Yes.
For me, that's just, I see some people in here saying they was y'all previous students. How old y'all? Y'all old as dirt out there.
I know. I see my students. Oh my God.
Okay. I'm like, child, what is y'all doing? Okay, but that just means y'all good people. That just means that y'all have it going on. So
I want to, there's a question in the chat. Why can't the assistant superintendent step in?
There you go.
Unfortunately, at this time, we do not have an assistant superintendent. So that
for reasons that you need to research. I mean, it's been talked about a lot, and I'll talk about it when they are off the platform.
Yes, but I didn't want to ignore that question because that, and in common practice, that could possibly happen, but it cannot happen in this situation.
Right.
Okay. And so then we went over who decides, because we don't have the firm process going on. So who decides who gets hired? Is that another board vote, or is that an autonomous vote, or what type of vote is that?
So there's a process in getting input from all stakeholders. So the board will select the candidates, but they do include the teachers association, the support staff association, and then they also give parents an opportunity to attend a forum and ask questions of the maybe the top 2 or 3 candidates. And sometimes they may ask for like an opinion, a vote of the organizations to see who did they find to be the best candidate. And then the final vote would definitely be with the board. But there are some opportunities to get some feedback from other stakeholders.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ms. Johnson.
No, I'm just echoing what you're saying. And that is why it's so important to be mindful of the selection of the board, because when votes are necessary, majority votes always rule. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a board that has the best interests of the children always in the forefront, you're going to have some problems.
Yeah. So let me tell the people, if you did not watch my earlier live, it was the meet and greet informational from this lovely slate here. There was 3 of them present, I believe. Yes. It was Dr. Randall, it was Ms. Johnson, and the other lady's name is
Mrs. Aretha Wyndham Harvey.
Wyndham Harvey. I knew it was Harvey, and I was like, I don't know if that's right. I'm gonna say it. But they were all 3 present at the meeting. I have the video up on my page. Where they tell you, so you need to go watch that video because there's some good information in there. There's 7 people on the board. So what did that mean? That means we need 4 for a majority. There are 4 on this slate that are about the children. Y'all be quiet now. That are about the children. Okay. So we, as the collective body out here in this Dolton community that are voting on April 1st, we're looking for a majority of people that are about the children. I don't know if these other people are having meet and greets. I ain't seen them. I told you they came from back in the Bible days. I feel like they don't have to campaign. And I think that's what they running on and what they standing on, because that's what they doing. But that's not what we doing. We getting information, and we need information, and we need you to answer questions, and we need you to have answers to the questions. And if you don't, we need you to get them. So, if in whoever is answering the questions, that's who would get my vote. Not the people that feel like I should just shut up, sit down, and do what I'm told. No, I want people who gonna answer my questions. So that's, y'all be quiet now. That's what I'm saying, because this is my platform. So that's what I said. So let's go to the next question. So the next question is, let's talk about what determines their pay. Is there a pay scale used for what determines their pay? Are we going by education? What are we looking at? What are the metrics that we're looking at for that?
That is a great question. Unfortunately, there is no standard pay for superintendents. Their contracts are negotiated through with lawyers. It does include experience. It does include education. It does include, certificates and certifications. And so normally through the application process, the salary is identified in a range. Because then that gives the board an opportunity to say, like, maybe it'll start at 150,000 to 185,000. And but the negotiations of the contract after its original contract is where usually the superintendent's increases happen. So the start pay may be within a range, but then after that, when they start renegotiating their contracts, they add on to more benefits or a higher salary, depending on their roles or their responsibilities, it being in a position. So that's one way of giving a salary to a superintendent.
I don't know if, okay, so let's just talk about your slate. We're just going to talk about what your vision is. So your vision going forward, how do you plan to attack this? Because for me, I feel like this is a huge loophole, right? Not being able to put a cap or have, some sort of guidelines that we are using definitely will dictate some of the situations that we're in right now. So how do you all plan to attack that? Is there a plan? If there's not, and if this is not a question you want to answer, it's okay. I just want to know, is there a plan?
For me, I mentioned at the board meeting last Tuesday, I feel like we should respect the superintendent's retirement letter. He submitted it back in 2022. And I think anyone who is considering retirement is doing it with thoughtfulness and with intentionality that this will happen, right? And so I feel like with the superintendent having a retirement letter saying that he has one more year, this would allow the board, whether if we have a new slate come in or not, to go through the process respectfully, to have some integrity in the process and start looking early and not put our school district in a situation where we're running in the last 3 or 4 months and now we have to take whomever. And in that process, now we have to negotiate a salary that we may not be comfortable with. But I don't think having to wait 2 years to do this process and give an extension to a superintendent to do this is efficient. And I saw in a chat, someone mentioned we have to hire an assistant superintendent and a superintendent in the future. Yes, that is correct. So we need to get started in securing those roles now so that we have good people in place that we can interview and not have to sit here and take candidates at the last minute to fill positions that we have opened. That's
Exactly.
just my personal view.
Yeah, I just want to add too that when Dr. Nolte um, first presented his desire to retire, and that was presented to the board. It was a unanimous decision that meant all 7 board members agreed to accept his resignation. Somewhere, somehow, backdoors, meetings, or what, I don't know, something changed. And then it came back to the board that he wanted an extension of his contract. And again, this is where the vote enters. There was a vote, and the vote outnumbered us. Dr. Randall and myself, we were the only 2 that voted against the extension of his contract or even a new contract. But majority wins.
Mm-hmm.
And so we lost out. And that's why it's so important the people who are on the board, where you can get those votes in, and those votes are for the best interests of the children and the community.
Right. Okay, I'm going to say this again, y'all. Be quiet. The views and opinions expressed on this platform are that of the super producer. And for me, I feel like they were a part of a group chat that you all were not. So somebody started a group chat chain and started talking about this. And they said, oh, no, these 2 are the smartest people we have on the board. We absolutely can't let them get wind of this because they might stop us. Okay, y'all be quiet. Be quiet. They might stop us. Okay, people in the chat, y'all know super producer. I just play it straight. That's absolutely probably allegedly what happened. Is that there was something that went around, something favor got done for somebody, and they was like, "Oh, I want to stay because I need to pay this off, or I need to do that." And there was a group change started, and the 2 people that got make sense. See, because if you have somebody who makes sense, and they talk to other people that can be easily swayed, then they gonna have the votes because it's whoever talk first get the power. So to me, it was some sort of group chat that some people not involved in, allegedly. That's what I'm gonna say. But I'm gonna impress upon the Dolton people that are watching this video, and I see you in here. This is the slate that is for the children. They're not in a group chat. Their group chat is set to public. Because we finna talk to the public about whatever we need to talk to the public about. We're not secretly having chats. We chatting with the public. Our group chat is set to public. So this is the slate that we need to get in for the majority. We're not done, Dolton. We're not done. We still got work to do. We probably still gonna be in a little bit, of a working session. That's what we in right now. We in a working session. We're trying to get questions answered, and we're trying to vote accordingly. Okay, so we need to like, share, and subscribe this video everywhere that we can. Every Dolton person that we know in Dolton West School District 148. Now that includes Riverdale, I believe some parts of South Holland, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And where else?
A small part of Harvey, Illinois as well.
Okay, so a small part of Harvey, Riverdale, and South Holland. All of you people that are listening, that's going to have Dolton West School District 148 on your ballot. Dr. Shalonda Randall, Andrea Johnson. And I keep forgetting that lady's. Her last name is Harvey. I have the palm card. It's the video thumbnail. So y'all saw it. I'm gonna put it up later when they do their ending. But this is what we're doing. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we talked about the scale, the pay. Who can remove the superintendent? I know that y'all did that vote for the extension, but what does a removal process look like?
That's the board. The board can remove, and the board, that's the only entity that can remove a superintendent.
And again, that's a vote.
A majority vote.
And so it's another majority. And what are the reasonings? Are there strict criteria for why you all would, call a meeting to do this?
Yes, it's so you can go with the performance goals. The superintendent is evaluated every year. And let's say, I think someone mentioned in the chat, like the salary should be based on student achievement.
Child, he would
So,
be getting $0. Okay, go ahead.
so if you
Child.
have um, if you have students or schools that are not achieving. So currently we have three schools that are comprehensive and we have one that is targeted. So then you will look at those schools and say, hey, out of all our 7 schools, 50% of our schools are not performing. And so then that would be a reason to say that the superintendent leadership is not doing what it's expected to do. So that will probably be like the number one reason. And then the second one could possibly be mismanagement of funds, not utilizing the grants, the budget or the money that is received to the district in a proper way. And that would also be one of the reasons why a superintendent would be removed from their position. Well, those 2 reasons are just the top.
The top, yeah, or some other egregious behavior.
Yeah.
Okay. And like I said, this super producer talking, he would be getting $0. Okay. Next question. um this we're gonna move in now into talking about our parents. How do the parents get involved in the school board in general and in the meetings? Now, I'm going to say this. In your video before at your meet and greet, we talked about time. You talked about time, the time of the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
How do the parents get involved in the school board and in their school district?
Well, like you said in the meeting, we talked about the time. Um, Once we're on, our slate has been elected and we're in place, we would definitely move to have the time be hopefully convenient for the majority of the parents. Right now, our board meetings start at 5 o'clock. A lot of people work from 9 to 5, or even if you get off at 4, if you allow for travel time, you're probably just making it home at 5. But definitely, if you get off at 5, you could not attend the board meeting. So we would, our one of the first things we would do would be to move the time so that it could be more convenient for parents to be physically present if that's what they chose to do.
And we do get parents who come out when students are being recognized for athletics and for science fair,
Right.
but parents leave afterwards. So we want them to be committed. Like if you come out and your child is being recognized for doing great achievements of making it to regionals or state with basketball, make it a night to say, well, if we are honoring them, let's find out more about the board. Let's stick around, because it's easy to come and then leave. And then that's when the business really starts, and things to get more information about what is actually happening in the district. Parents don't have to come to every board meeting. Every board meeting is not, intended to have a full crowd. The agenda is posted every 48 hours before a meeting. So look on the agenda and see if there's something that really that you feel passionate about, that you want to speak about, and attend. There may not be a meeting where there's nothing that really connect to you, and this may not be the month you want to attend. But we do have quite a few recognitions every month. If we could get those parents to stay and hear more about the business of the district, I think that will help increase more awareness and also involvement.
And let me ask this. How are these meetings run? Are they run on the Robert's Rules of Order, or are they just, because can I be real with y'all? Because, baby, when that man tried to say, call for the vote, while people was giving their public comment, they kind of turned me off. But how are these meetings run? Are they run on Robert's Rules of Order? Are we putting things on the agenda? Are we making motions? Are we having discussions? Are we having more than one meeting? Because you put it on the agenda don't mean you got to vote on it that day. You just maybe you want to discuss it, and let the parents have their input put. And then the next time, once you're able to think about what some of the parents have said, then there's a vote. I mean, how are we conducting these meetings? How are these meetings conducted?
Well, to be honest, quite often the board president, Larry Lawrence, has to be reminded that there should be discussion. Oftentimes, he wants to, go right into the vote, as you said, but he is oftentimes reminded, especially by Dr. Randall, that there should be time for discussion, and it should be.
And we do follow the Open Meetings Act, the Robert's Rules of Order. And we need to have, when information is presented, an opportunity to be engaged as a board, to ask questions and not just rubber stamp everything that comes before us, right? We should be able to look at our agenda and say, hey, this is something I'm not comfortable with. I need more clarity. Because just kind of, with my e-learning skills, watching the chat and talking at the same time, they are asking, like, how do you get on a board? Some people who get on the board are not knowledgeable of a school district. They don't know the ins and outs. So I always try to encourage new board members to speak up. Your voice is important. Everybody's voice on the board is important. And even if you don't know the answer, it's okay. No one is going to look bad because you don't know. That's why you're asking, and the superintendent should be able to provide you with that information. So we really look at that discussion, because sometimes things come up and people go, oh, I didn't even know. Like, they didn't know to even ask that question. So that is something that we do try to enforce. And it is very difficult when people are pushing votes along and they don't want to have discussions.
And sometimes there's such a lot of information on a particular topic, and that topic may need to be tabled as opposed to rushing to a vote.
So now this question says, what is the process for a parent or a community member to get on the board? So it's the same, because you guys are running for a position. So you have to file all of those nomination paper things, the intent to run, the economic interest. It's the whole same packet, right? Go to Board of Elections, pick up the candidate packet, you fill it out, you turn it in at the proper times. All of those things are listed or when you go to the Board of Elections, I know that there's somebody there to help you answer any questions, but it's a packet that you get, that you fill out, you turn it back in at the deadline times, and you start running, as long as, nobody challenges you. Do you guys get challenges over there sometimes?
Yes.
Okay, so they get objection hearings. So we've been through. See, these are the processes that we are learning over here of what goes on. So the process is the same on this side. You turn in your packet. If somebody objects to you, then objections are heard in a timely manner. If you make it through objections, then you make it on the ballot, and you better get to work.
And I will say, one of the things, and this is a topic for a whole different session, but how to educate people on that whole process, because I really feel like even that whole election process is so many barriers and challenges that are created if you don't know. And so even, as much education as I have, I'm not educated in that part of the political world. So we struggled. We're looking for the packets. The packets are not easy to find. It's not easy to understand getting those petitions out there. It's not easy making sure, like, you have to be intentional on how you are even placed on the ballot. And how to, when you get there, it's 60 people in front of you, because there's a certain time where everybody will be placed on a ballot. But all of that education, people don't tell you that. You're learning as you go along, and then the more experienced you become. So for me, it's just like, I want to continue to educate people. Like, if you're looking to run, I feel like there should be a course or a class or some type of training.
Dr. Randall, we'll have you back on this platform, honey, because that's what we do do over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's,
And those are things that I teach. So I have been teaching them about the objection process because that was a huge thing that just went on in Thornton Township.
yeah.
So I showed them that whole entire process. Even down to we watched the objection hearings, even to telling them if you're representing yourself, you have to know about objections, when you need to object to something, and when you object you have to say why you're objecting. Objection, this is conjecture. Objection, they testifying. You have to tell the people that are supposed to be making the decision why you're objecting, and then they make the decision whether it's sustained and that person has to be quiet, or they say overruled and they get to continue. It's a whole thing, right? So
Yes.
listen, me and you can tag team this education for these parents, and we can,
Yes.
yes, we're gonna be over here popping with the education
And
because
not, and nope, not even. What? Yes, I want you to be a part of the training. Yes.
yes, okay. And so like I say over here, this is what this is. This is a teaching platform. So people over here love learning, and when I do the teaching things, we're absorbing. So we will definitely have that in the future once we get through all of this and y'all get back settled in your seats. And then when you ready, you say, "Hey, super producer, I'm ready." And I'm gonna say, "What day?" Because we ready to go now. And so somebody else wanted to know, do they still have PTA meetings in the schools?
Yes.
Yes. That is really a school-based organization. So that depends on the leadership in the school and the parental involvement. But I do believe we have at least maybe 3 PTAs in our district.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them I do know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we do. Yes.
Okay. All right, let me go back to my question. That was a road question. Let me see. Who do parents contact for help with advocating for their child? Let's say that they feel like they have exhausted talking to the principal. They're not listening. They feel like they have exhausted talking to the superintendent. They're not. Can they? Who can they reach out to on the board? What does that look like?
So as board members, we cannot work independently.
Right.
So when a question comes to us, we refer it to the board president, and then the board president will follow up with the superintendent, and then the superintendent will follow up with any cabinet member who that may fall under. We can, respond and say thank you for reaching out to us. We can privately go to the superintendent and say, hey, we got this email from this parent. What's going on? Can you follow up? We can do that, but we cannot really respond back to a parent by ourselves.
No.
Okay. So they can come to a board meeting though.
Oh, yes.
And make a public comment and address the board.
Yes.
Yes.
And
that is
then that is
participation.
Okay. And so then that is when they can expect for something to happen.
Yes.
Because then you guys will discuss and figure out what it is you can do, what you need to do, who maybe needs to address this based on experience and education. And then we go from there. So you guys heard that. If you're having trouble, you need to go to a meeting and address the board during public comment with your concerns. If you feel like you're not getting anywhere, on the principal, administration, that level in your schools, and you feel like, okay, I gotta go to where I gotta go. You need to go to a meeting and address the board.
May I add one other thing?
It should be made known, however, that you may not get an answer that very day, but it will be made known. Your concern will be made known, and the superintendent will usually say they'll get back with you.
Okay, good. I don't think that we should expect immediate responses because
Right.
they'll be just hearing the concern.
Right.
You will have to give them some time to adjust and talk. Since they cannot address you individually, it will have to be maybe a closed session meeting where they talk about, whatever needs to be done or whoever brings it up.
Yes. And real quick, I just want to add, when parents or community members speak, remember there's a time. So it's 3 minutes, some places 5 minutes. So try to get your thoughts together so that you won't get cut off. because they will cut you off in the middle, but sometimes you can say, I'm asking a request to speak an additional 2 minutes. And then you have community members like, hey, I this is my microphone right now. I'm gonna keep it moving.
Right.
So, but just remember, if you could get your thoughts together, that would make it a lot better too, when you come to speak.
Correct.
Okay. And somebody did say in the chat that, you need to talk with the child's guidance counselor first, and see if they can, I guess, they probably would be the mediator.
Yeah.
The guidance counselor would be the mediator between yourself and the principal, to see if they can help you come to some sort of agreement. They should have those skills based on their education, to do that. I'm sure that when Ms. Johnson come back, I'll put her back up.
Okay.
Let's see. The next question was, how long are school board seats for?
Good question. The majority of the school board seats are 4 years, unless someone leaves in the middle of a year of a term, and oftentimes it's after 2 years. Then the next board member may be seated for 2 years, but then they can be appointed. So let's say if a board member moves out of that community and no longer can be a part of the board, and so they put in their resignation, so then they can be appointment can happen, and they don't necessarily have to run for that position. But if they're appointed, it's only to complete the term of that board member, and then they will have to run for the next 4 term. Ms. Johnson actually was an example of that situation where she came in the middle of someone else's term.
Okay. So it's just like the regular village seats. If something happens, then there's an appointment that could take place, and then that person will sit in that seat for the rest of the time. And then next time the election comes, they will have to run to retain that seat. There was something that it's gonna come to me afterwards. So do you all have set term limits? And these positions are not paid?
No, they're not paid, and no stipend is received. This is strictly volunteer.
Do you all get your education paid for, though? Is there like a stipend for that? Like if you all are trying to attend a conference or something for the school?
So the conferences, the training is paid for by the district.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay.
We're part of the National Association of School Board Members. So we attend conferences, and yes, that is paid for by the district.
Okay. And right now y'all don't have term limits set, like, because that's why we got the people from the Bible days on board, because
that's correct.
Yeah. Okay.
4 years.
I mean, technically y'all got Noah and maybe even Joseph, Mary's husband, brother, on his board. I mean, there are some, I feel like there's a good turning that needs to be done. I also have a question about, y'all have a secretary, right?
Yeah.
However, what rules do they go by? Because when you're reading the minutes, right? Like, I want to know who voted yes specifically and who voted no. I don't want to know that the board voted yes, because it could not be that the board voted yes, because we have the majority situation. Why is it that we don't get the breakdown of the votes? Is that something that your slate is looking to better? You're looking to better that process of these minutes?
Well, the breakdown is recorded. The secretary does record who voted what, but we are a collective unit, so it is considered the board. We are the board. It is comprised of 7 members, and majority wins. So majority vote is the board, regardless of if there were 2 or 3 that voted the opposite way. The majority is the board, and so that's why it is referred to as the board. But
okay,
the individual votes are recorded.
Excuse me, and this is super producer. Y'all be quiet.
Okay.
Ain't no way I'm going to take responsibility for some stuff that some other people voted for. Talking about, y'all be quiet now. Don't. I'm not doing it. We finna change that because not the fact that the board passed it. Okay, that's one thing you could say. The board passed it. But don't you ever say the board as a whole, because the board as a whole didn't pass that mess. You voted how you voted, and I voted how I voted.
Right.
Okay. And like for me, I feel like when I go and look at the minutes, it's okay if you write right there, the board voted to do this, right? But then give me my breakdown, because I need to know how each individual person on this board voted, because that's going to dictate who I vote for. See what I'm saying? We all ain't falling on swords here, because when election time comes, you not passing out my pawn cards.
Mm-hmm.
You're not helping me. You're not speaking up to the residents for me. No, we're not doing that. And that's why I was saying, because that gives an extra layer of transparency to the parents to know who's responsibly voting, right? For me. Now, this is just me.
And I think that's correct. And I also saw in the chat, they do call a roll call, right? And so that, again, is why it's important that people are present in the audience. Because if people did not attend that meeting, it would have went out that the board voted for this contract. And that is not correct. They're not going to tell you who didn't vote because it passed. So the ones who were at the board meeting and they saw who didn't vote, they can say, no, that was not passed, a 7-0 or 6-0. There were two people who voted against it. So that's the presence of the board, especially in those situations where decisions are being made that are, encompassing of finances or a superintendent contract. Then you can actually see that roll call vote and hear it.
Right. So another question, excuse me, for me is, why are these meetings not on YouTube?
Great.
Or broadcast, just like the Village of Dolton has a Village of Dolton page, and they were at one point, before there was non-transparency, broadcasting the meetings from there, so that people that could not travel to the meetings, or like you said, I don't get off until 5, so I can't be there at 5, are able to view them, or even go back and view what has happened. Is that something that will be coming in the future?
Yes.
Yes, I am all for that. There nowadays, school boards are on YouTube, and we learned this during the pandemic, that we had more involvement of parents' participation virtually, because it was another way for them to access the board meetings and be a part of the board meetings, or at least know what's going on. And I agree with you. If it had not been for people in the audience with phones to broadcast what happened, no, it would not have been known. So I think that is a great opportunity. And that is something I'm definitely open to and would like to see change.
Yeah, because baby, listen, YouTube wore them videos out. Do you hear me? Okay. So the Bible days, y'all can count y'all days. 40 days and 40 nights. You ain't got that much longer left, because they wore that video out over here on YouTube, and Lord have mercy. Okay. Yeah, and so that, that for me is another breath of fresh air that this particular slate brings. For me, I want to get rid of the word transparency, and I want to replace it with public. Everything we're going to do will be public. Every move we make will be public, because these same people what ran on transparency too. Talking about, yeah. So public. Everything we do gonna be we having a public group chat. You want to join? Come on, join. That's what we have. Who is the FOI officer?
Miss Chapman.
She's the executive assistant to the superintendent.
Okay.
Executive assistant.
And so that person is the person that you should contact. I hope y'all listening, for any FOIs that you want to receive, any information that you want about the school district, how much the children, how much per child from state, federal, and local, how much was spent here, what grants were brought in, where they were spent. Miss Chapman is the FOI officer for Dolton West School District 148. Okay. Keep in mind the same rules apply. She have 5 days to answer your FOI. At the end of the 5 days, if she needs an extension, she is to send you an email that says, hey, we need an extension on your FOI information. If you please excuse and pardon our dust, I need a few more days, right? And so the same rules apply. And guess what? If she don't send you that letter, then what you do is you get your little email, you send it up to the attorney general, and you say, this lady right here is the FOI officer. She has not answered my FOI as of yet. My 5 days is up, and she didn't ask for an extension. These are just things that we have to do, but we want to follow the proper procedure, right? Right. We don't want to go and be emailing the individual board members and saying I didn't get my FOI, because they don't know and they don't have nothing to do with that. Okay. That's the process. That's how we do it. They'll contact her. She'll get that nice little email and a letter in the mail from Attorney General saying, excuse me, you got some FOIs you haven't answered. What could possibly be the problem? And see, now you got to answer us and them. We'll be waiting. So, that's what we got to do, and that's what we will do. Let me see. I think there was some comments. Okay, I'm gonna get to y'all comments. Sherry Britton said, please, I'm gonna let y'all speak to this when y'all do y'all last talk. But Sherry Britton said, please let her know what they can do to help y'all keep your seats, and then add the other 2 seats that we need to add. So in your speech at the end, if you need volunteers, Ponca, I know y'all got another meet and greet coming up. I'm gonna let y'all talk about that too. Let me see. We answered that. Sherry Britton said, we beg for the board to table the contract vote for Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Owens. Would not even look my way. So horrible the way they treated the residents and the 2 board members for the residents. That's just a statement. Don't y'all reply. Statement. Don't y'all reply. How does the president get elected? Okay, Miss Mike, if you could rewind the video, they addressed every concern in this video. Trust me. Okay, and I went over that, and then let me go back over here. Let me see what this say. What were you and Larry talking about when you told him y'all did the same thing to Tiffany Hilliard? Talked about her like a dog and drug her name through the mud. Was he trying to justify his stupidness? Don't answer that. Well, you can if you want to, but you don't have to.
Yeah, I'll answer. So my concern is that we have to look at equity, right? And when we're if we are attacking public officials for mismanagement or misappropriate behavior, just because someone is silent doesn't mean that it's okay. Right. Because it was very vocal. They're Dolton residents. And I saw them on Facebook at some of the board meetings, and basically in a way of possibly supporting what was happening with her. And I felt like we're sitting here in a board meeting and we are not being open and we're not being the same when people have a voice about what's happening on this board. We are doing it quietly and we're behind the backs in the back of the scene, and that is not right. And so when people come to speak out, they should not be penalized. They should not be talked down to, and they should not be not encouraged to have a voice in a process that they should have been well aware of. So that was the conversation I was having with him as far as, you got to be equitable in both ways.
She was having that. Now, this just me. You got me effed up conversation. That's what she was having. Okay. Because sometimes you just got to tell people, don't play with me. Pray with me. Because, okay, I'm just saying. I mean, y'all know how we do over here. Okay. So we are now to the portion of the show that I told you all we would get to. I'm going to put this up. Okay, this is these ladies' palm card. You see these beautiful ladies There's Miss Wyndham Harvey. On the end, you punch 144 for her. You punch for Dr. Shalonda Randall. You punch 143 for you girl, you might be doctor, girl. Let me tell you, because I stay prayed up. So I listen, doctor might be in your future. I was about to say Dr. Johnson. For Andrea Johnson, Miss Andrea Johnson, you're gonna put 145. And then for Sherry M. Bush, you're gonna punch 144. And this is our majority board that is for the students. Okay, we are for the students over here. We are not for ourselves. This is not some lifelong thing we trying to do for us, because eventually we need to turn this over to the children. The children are not our future, because we are already here in the future. They are our today. So these ladies are now going to tell you why you should vote for them. And we're going to start with Ms. Johnson. Ms. Johnson, you have the floor.
Hi, and again, thank you everyone for tuning in and sharing your time. I would like to say I want and believe you should vote for me and our slate because we have integrity. We are sincerely concerned about our children and our community. We are educated. We are intelligent. We are determined. We are hardworking and sincerely committed and devoted to seeing improvement and increase in our children's reading and math scores. We're interested in bringing more parental involvement in the school board and in our community with our children. We will do whatever is necessary to have Riverdale be a village and a community where people want to move to because they know we have good schools and our children are learning and they are excelling. We are committed to seeing improvement in our schools.
Thank you so much. Now we are going to move to Dr. Randall.
All right. Good evening again, everyone. It has been a pleasure being a part of this process. I shared with Miss Super Producer, I was a little nervous. I haven't done this before, but you all have made it a seamless process. I enjoy the information that's been sent in the chat. And I just want to start by saying that my love is for the community. I started in the Riverdale Dolton School District as a substitute teacher. And at that time, the community was 60 to 70% white. And there were not a lot of Black teachers in the school in which I was working in. And I saw the need of students seeing someone that looked like me in education. And that was my drive. And then I became a teacher. And then I continued to move up and I became eventually the principal of one of the schools in Dolton West 148. And one of the things that I believe in greatly is making sure that our students have access to opportunities that they may not get any other way, using my role to connect them. I saw in the chat when they were talking about, mentoring for young African-American boys, our Black boys, definitely was part of my passion. And that is how I connected with the board president as he was running a mentoring group through the Thornton Township. And so I recruited him to work in our schools, and several other Black males, other board members also who have also worked in the school at the time that I was a principal. So my passion is for all students and definitely for our young Black boys as they have so many challenges. But then as I continue to move up with my education and also move up in my career, I wanted to still give back to the community. I don't have any children in the district, but it doesn't mean that I don't care about the district or my community. And the knowledge that I have is I want to give it to this community. I want to make sure I'm advocating for our community. We are not ignorant individuals. We are not some people who don't care about our children or about our schools or about our community. And I don't sit well when someone represents us that way. I believe that people care if we make them aware and we bring them a part of the conversation. So having that, instead of packing up my bags and going to an affluent district, I stayed in Riverdale. I'm a 30-year resident of Riverdale. And it's wonderful to see my former students who are adults now involved in politics or involved in the workforce, to see they're a product of what I have poured into this community in which I serve. And likewise with my counterparts, Miss Harvey is a former teacher, recently retired from Dolton West 148. And Miss Sherry Bush is a parent mentor in our community as well. We are your soldiers in your community. We are the boots on the grounds. We're not someone who has retired and now we want to come back and live off the luxury of taxpayers and attending field trips and conferences. But instead, we want to work and we want to be advocates for what is right for our children and our communities. And so that's why you should come out and vote for us, because we are connected to the work in which we are serving, and we're doing it from our hearts. We are not getting paid for this. It's volunteer. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work, but it's good work. And it's work that we need to have good people in place to do. So please come out April 1st. If you want to come out to the forum and meet and greet us, we set this up immediately so that people can come out and see us in person, ask us questions. We heard you at the board meeting and we responded. And so we want you to come out on this Thursday, but we also want you to come out on April 1st. Get people out and vote. We need your votes, because nothing will happen if we don't have your votes.
Right.
And so there is a meet and greet, another one that is going to take place this Thursday, March the 27th. Where at?
It's at the Riverdale Public Safety Building off 138th. It is actually the Riverdale Police Department, but they have a community room inside of that building. So it's right off 138th. I don't know the full address, forgive me.
That's okay, I'll get it.
The
I just want you, most people that live out there know, so the Riverdale Police Department off of 138th. I'll post the address for you all. Correctional officer for lockdown. I am sure that Dr. Randall has every intention to hook up with male mentoring organizations out there, because I know for a fact that that district is full of single moms. I know that for a fact because I used to drive school bus out there. And most of those kids were getting themselves ready for school, and they would miss the bus, and they would be calling saying on my radio, Christmas, can you go back to so-and-so because they missed the bus? And I would be like, Lord, so poor so-and-so, because they have to get themselves ready for school. So, yes, I feel like they have a plan, but guess what? We got to get through the vote first.
Yes.
And we need to have the majority on the board and able to get things done for your children, because you saw the disrespect at the last meeting. So now we are in the do your research era. Yeah. Lil Stank brought us into that era. So now that we are here, this is what we're doing today. And we are finding that this is the board, the majority board that we need to bring us into that era. Correctional office for lockdown, no worries. And don't forget that I am also working with the Dolton firefighters, who right now are all men and are trying to come into every school in both Dolton school districts, 149 and 148. So those, future wise probably will be happening, but your vote matters, right?
Yeah.
Your vote matters. You
Yes.
need to punch 144, 143, 145, and I think it's 141.
Yes.
Let me make
Yes.
sure.
And
Yes.
may I add just one more thing?
You can
That
add whatever you want. You the boss.
early voting is going on now. You do not
Yes.
have to wait until April 1st. We need every vote. We need everybody to come out. We need a higher percentage of voters coming out so that we can win. Our slate can be put in place. Please vote. Please bring someone to the voting polls with you. Let's
Yes.
increase our.
Please come. Let's start with the meet and greet. Please come out to the meet and greet, right? Because
Mhm.
they need people at the polls handing out their palm cards.
Yes.
Reminding the people, hey, these are the people that's for the children. You want things to start happening for your children, please vote this slate right here. Okay.
Thank
This is what
you.
we need. We need some volunteers to be out at the polls and handing out palm cards. These ladies, they can't be everywhere at once. I mean, we know they superheroes, but I don't know what type of powers they got. I don't know if they got cloning powers.
No.
They might not be able to do that.
Yes.
But we need some people to hand out palm cards
Yes.
on their behalf. Please meet them at the meet and greet. What time is it start?
6:30.
30.
6:30. Listen, they're giving you a little time. You stop by Church's Chicken, pick you
Mhm.
up a 2-piece and a biscuit, and come on down to the Riverdale Police Department in their community room off of 138th and talk with them some more.
Yeah.
Ask them some more questions. I feel like they're ready. You can ask them whatever they want. They're not worried. Remember, our chat is set to public. We haven't yet heard from the private chat because they feel like they got it wrapped up. But
Okay.
we want to let them know, no, you thought you did and you thought wrong. Cause baby, we back. Okay. So we need to get this done for the children. I'm most concerned about those children out there. When I was driving school bus, those kids had I can tell you for a fact, the, the schools are not the only reason that these children are lacking. Okay. Some of their home lives are very, very tumultuous. They have other things that they are dealing with besides for just school, right?
Yes.
So, with the community getting back on track with, the clean house slate, and now we transition this board, we will be able to properly support the children in
Yes.
this school district. Why? Because intergovernmental contracts were not being allowed under this former administration. But I'm sure and I am positive that Jason House loved the kids and he will try to hook in with the school board anytime that he may need to assist them. If they ask for his assistance, I'm sure that that's going to be an option. But these children, they are fighting so many other things other than just, you know, being at school. And I have seen some of them, boy, they be so tired, they sleep on the way to school. And when they get out of school, they be sleep on the bus. I have to wake them up to get off the bus.
Mm.
Mhm.
And that's their lives. Their school is their respite.
Mhm.
So, we need to give them all the support that we can so that they can become better and start to excel even more, even more.
Yes.
And I know that we are going into that era because now we are no longer asleep at the wheel. We have all the tools that we need. We have the information. We have the people. And guess what we got now? The power.
Yes.
Do everything that we need to do. The one power that we have right now is to vote.
Yes. Yes.
Please get out and vote. Okay? That's what we need to do. Get out and vote. Show these people that they are not going to have business as usual because we are going to get out here and vote and we are taking our board back. And this is how we're going to do it with these 4 beautiful ladies. And then the Bible days, I mean, we're going to have 2 of the Bible days anyway, 3 of them, but they'll be all right. They can be able to get their 10 commandments pushed through every now and then. We'll let them get a little something every now and then. But for right now, we need to be able to go into the future and fight the future with this board. This is what we need. Okay. Listen, guys.
Thank you
Super.
so much.
Oh
Yes, thank
no, it
you
was,
very much.
man, it was definitely my pleasure. I love hooking up with smart people. Do you hear me? Listen, my black people, them some smart people. Do you hear me?
Hmm.
And I love hooking up with other ambitious, smart, dedicated, honest, respectable, integrity intact people. Do
Yeah.
you understand me? Somebody that don't play no games when it comes to our future and our present right now. And I feel like you ladies, all of you ladies represent that. And I want you to take that going forward. I love how you are addressing the community. And I wish nothing but blessings for your life. And if there's
Thank
any
you.
way that I can assist you, um, then I will. I will do my best to do that and assist you in, whatever it is you need. Getting the word out. We're going to absolutely do
Hmm.
that class on here. Also, with Ms. Johnson, you won't be left out. I have something I like to do with you as well. And that's because each of you have kind of touched my life because I told you I was McKinney Vento here in Country Club Hills for a while. Well, Country Club Hills Matson for a while, and those things, outreach and information, is what the homeless, people need.
Hmm.
So you
Yeah.
guys are very powerful with having the knowledge, and knowledge is power.
Hmm.
Knowledge is absolute, knowing where to go and who to talk to, and who to reach out to. Those things are invaluable. They are priceless.
Hmm.
So you all have out there in Dolton, you have 4 jewels coming to you with their experience and their knowledge, and you should take advantage of every piece of that
Yes.
because look at what you're looking at right now because you don't have more of that.
Right.
And so I feel like I've done my due diligence for the day. I am so glad that you guys felt safe with me. I hope that I did not disrespect you or in any way make you feel uncomfortable. And I just appreciate you for being willing to come on this platform. And I hope that this is not your last time.
I hope
Thank
not either. Yes, thank you. And we appreciate it, especially connecting to other communities that we may not have that opportunity to do. So thank you for the platform. Thank you for the wonderful comments in the chat. We really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. We're gonna get ready to get out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we are talking about Tinley Park. Uh Tinley Park, they got a lot going on. My phone is going crazy. And tomorrow we gonna talk about lots of it. It is election time, and it is my mission that we are going to get rid of this corruption one layer at a time. And let me tell you something, Tinley. You can block me from a Facebook group, right? But you ain't going to stop me. I'm going to get my message out any way I can. And I'm going to wear you out on that Village of Tinley Park page. I'm going to wear you out any way that I can because this corruption is going to stop. It is going to stop because we cannot let our kids take this into the future and let them think that this is how government is supposed to be. This is not how government is supposed to be. You work for the people, and we will get that back in order. You work for the people. So, Tenny Park, do your best work. And you know who I'm talking to. You know who I'm talking to. Don't call me that Christmas lady no more either. You know who I'm talking to. Y'all have a good evening. Go get your dinner.
Bye bye. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
You.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good evening.
Not today.